And we are at Gerald Prim Stadium here for the WildCats and Mount Pleasant as they will renew this ancient rivalry that has been going on for a long, long time, and these two teams really engage each other on the soccer pitch. And we've got Mount Pleasant at the WildCats. It is a district game. We haven't always been in the district with Mount Pleasant, but lately we have. And the Wildcats 0-1 in district play after a loss 1-0 right here in this stadium on Friday night to Longview. And Mount Pleasant 0-0. They were supposed to play Pine Tree, but that contest got canceled due to coronavirus issues at Pine Tree. So Mount Pleasant comes in 0-0, and Coach Mayfield, Jason Mayfield, the coach of the Mount Pleasant Tigers, said he felt like his team might be at a slight disadvantage in this game because the Wildcats had a district game and they had not. So we'll see if Mount Pleasant looks kind of rusty out there, see how that may manifest itself. But we're just about ready. The clock is set at 40 minutes. Coach Neal is next door, and he will be introducing players from both teams. And we may have a little bit more pregame than that, but I'm not sure. But that'll be coming up very, very shortly as we're just seconds away from getting underway here. I'm not sure we've got much PA tonight, Doug. I'm not hearing him at all.
Number 8, Miguel Rubio. Number 10, Alex Diaz.
He is introducing Mount Pleasant now to the crowd here.
Number 12, John Sala. Number 13, Guillermo Sanchez. Number 14.
Not sure if anybody can hear that. Doug hears it fine. Let's join Coach Neal for the rest of the Mount Pleasant roster.
Aaron Soto. Number 18, Ernesto Hernandez. Number 19, Cesar Flores. Number 20, Pedro Zuniga. Number 22, Alan Ledesma. Goalkeeper, Bobby Gandera and Kyle Cates. Coaches, Jason Mayfield, Jesus Garcia, Hugo Urebe, Jalen Mayfield, Manager Luis Espinosa.
All right, Junior. I'm supposed to be up there.
Now, your starting lineup for your Soul Springs Wildcats. Number 1, Joel Passion. Number 2, Omar Hernandez. Number 3, Brian Sanchez. Number 4, Alan Hernandez. Number 5, Matthew Clark. Number 6, Brian Gonzalez. Number 7, Edgar Salazar. Number 8, Aubrey Camacho. Number 9, Angel Andino. Number 10, Uriel Santa Cruz. Number 11, Jorge Santa Cruz. Number 12, David Moreno. Number 13, Marcus Martinez. Number 14, Hector Hernandez. Number 15, Bo Bankston. Number 16, Jason Blake. Number 17, Alex Yanez. Number 18, Garrett Green. Number 19, Jose Rodriguez. Number 20, Nick Cantillo. Number 21, Joshua Tavera. Number 22, Brian Rodriguez. Number 23, Alejandro Diastato. Number 24, Kai Wynn. Number 25, Alex Rodriguez. And coached by Alexi Tufton, assistant coaches. Salvador Mejia, Carlos Ramirez. Now would you please stand and remove your hat. We honor our nation for playing our nation.
And there we have the lineups for each team, national anthem, as we get ready to get underway here. And we want to talk about some KSST radio station history. That's family KSST, because we're talking about our FM station, KRVA. And Ross Lubinsky tonight is in Mount Pleasant, and he is getting ready to call the Mount Pleasant and Wildcats game from Mount Pleasant on KRVA. That's 107.1 on your FM dial. And I hate to send all our audience that way. I want you guys to stick with us here. As we have a good soccer game for you, but if you want to check for occasional updates, we'll give you some, by the way. In fact, I can already tell you from reports that we're getting from the site that the Wildcats freshman team lost their game 37-36. The Wildcats JV won 49-39 in overtime. So, and those reports coming to us from the fellow that I just call Superfan, and we appreciate him and for providing us that information. And we will have periodic updates on that basketball game as well. But history being made, at least from the KSST family, we have not, to my knowledge, had any sports on KRVA since we've owned that FM station. But it's happening tonight. So whether or not that becomes a trend, we shall just have to wait and see. But we do have the Tigers and the Wildcats playing here at on KSST as well as Channel 18, and the Wildcats kicked the ball into Mt. Pleasant territory, and chasing the ball down for the Wildcats is Alex Yanez. Goes back to Joel Passion, and here's a kick out of bounds by Mt. Pleasant, and they've got the bane of all announcers' uniforms on tonight. They have white uniforms with yellow numerals. So we won't be calling many Mount Pleasant players' names, as those jersey numbers are just almost impossible to see. There's a kick toward the goal that just missed on a shot taken by Edgar Salazar, and a goal kick now from Mount Pleasant. And to make matters worse, I left my field glasses back at home. So there's the kick out of the goal by Mount Pleasant. It's on the far touchline, and Mount Pleasant, intercepted though by the Wildcats. And now they kick it deeper down the field toward Omar Hernandez. It was taken off his foot by Mount Pleasant. The ball on the far touchline. Mount Pleasant player dumped over there, and a foul on the Wildcats. And so that'll set up a free kick for Mount Pleasant out about 40 yards from the goal. And they'll kick it up the field into Wildcats territory. And here comes Mount Pleasant. The Wildcats break that up and kick it up the field, but Mount Pleasant putting on the pressure. They kick it deep, and A-Rod will let it roll across the end line. That's Alex Rodriguez. And he'll have a goal kick from the edge of the small box. 0-0 with 38-14 left to play here in the first half. The Wildcats and Mount Pleasant from Gerald Prim Stadium. Rodriguez with a kick out of there. Big header there by Diastato. That's Alejandro Diastato. Now it's on the near touchline for Mount Pleasant. They'll kick it back into the defense as Omar Hernandez is back checking. Mount Pleasant tries to bring it up. They'll go to the far touchline, and it rolls across the touchline. Throw in for the Wildcats. There's the throw in for the Wildcats on that far side. Comes back to David Marino, and he gets it to Alejandro Diastato, but Mount Pleasant has it now, and they're steaming into the Wildcats' end, into the Wildcats' defense. There's a kick toward the goal that heads to the right of the goal from our perspective up here in the press box. It would be to the left of A-Rod. And they say last touch by the Wildcats, so Mount Pleasant will get an early chance for a corner kick here at 37-12. And they will send it back to a player charging down by the touchline, a long kick toward the goal. It's way too high. And now the Wildcats have a goal kick as the ball went over the goal and out of bounds. Alex Rodriguez will kick it from the edge of the small box. and puts his foot into it, headed by Mt.Pleasant. The Wildcats have it in their defensive end over to Diastato. Now the ball kicked high in the air, and Mt.Pleasant will send it to the far touchline. Wildcats pursuing. Mt.Pleasant with the ball broken up by the Wildcats, and here they come. This is Diastato kicking it down the field, and here's a turn and a shot. Went just to the right of the goal. Pretty long shot there by the Wildcats, and goal kick for Mt.Pleasant. I believe, well, I can't tell if that's a 1 or a 2 in the goal for Mt.Pleasant, so I will not speculate. There's a kick. It's a good one up to the midline. Nice header by the Wildcats. That was taken by Bryant Sanchez. Mt.Pleasant now has it on the far touchline, but they'll kick it out of bounds. But last touch by the Wildcats. It'll be a throw in for the Tigers. 35-48 and counting here in the first half. And we're 0-0. There's the Tiger throw in on that far touchline. Wildcats trying to get it and go on that far touchline. Now they'll kick it down the field. And a player coming in off that far touchline will kick. Oh, that bounced off the official. And they stopped the clock. A dead ball, the official says, and he'll give the Wildcats a free kick from right at the spot where it hit him, kind of in the upper body. And he just drops it and lets the Wildcats continue play. Salazar trying to get it for the, no, I take that back. That's somebody else. That was Jorge Santa Cruz, I believe. That's his number. And on the far touchline there. And Mt.Pleasant has the ball as they work it from one touchline all the way to the other. And they come across. Alejandro Diastato in pursuit. And now so is Alex Yanez. Kick it into Wildcats territory. They're still out about 50 yards. They'll chip it toward the goal, broken up by the Wildcats. Mt.Pleasant setting it up again, but they kicked it a little too far, and it went to Alex Yanez. He was working it upfield, and now they continue to work it upfield to Diastato. And the Wildcats getting it down to Omar Hernandez. He sends it further down, but broken up by Mt.Pleasant. And the Tigers try to come out of their defensive end. The Wildcats are back checking very nicely. Comes to the near touchline here as Wildcats' Joel Passion sticks his nose in there. Now the Wildcat is knocked off his feet. It'll have a foul by Mt.Pleasant. This will be a free kick out about 34 yards from the goal and between the hash mark and the sideline on the football field. And this will be Alejandro Diastato, and he'll tee it up from about 31 yards out. We're at 33-40 of the first half. We're 0-0. And here is Diastato with the kick. It's on the way, and it's to the right of the goal. Just right. And it'll be a goal kick from Mt.Pleasant. And one of their, well, their keeper actually will, no, one of their position players will kick it out of there. A nice strong kick headed by Diastato. Another header. Sends it to the near touchline here. And Passion pried it loose back to Diastato. It's right on the near touchline. Passion again in there and knocked out of bounds by Mt.Pleasant. So Joel Passion will chase that ball down, and then when he gets it, he will go to the designated spot that the official will mark for him, and the official out on the field is showing him exactly where to stand. About 44 yards out, right on the near touchline. And here's Passion with a throw-in, with his strong throw-in into the 18-yard box in Mt.Pleasant territory. They kick it out of bounds, and so Passion with another throw-in. He bounces it. It gets back to Passion. And there was a violation on the Wildcats, and so the ball will now be thrown in by Mt.Pleasant. 32-10 left in the first half. And we're tied at 0-0 here from Gerald Prim Stadium as Coach Mayfield with a substitution for Mount Pleasant. He said he's had a hard time keeping a full team on the field because of the COVID-19 virus. And we certainly heard about that. If you ever try to go to a medical facility in Hopkins County, they want to know if you've been to Titus County. So they've had a lot of issues with it over there, and it has had some impact on Coach Mayfield's soccer team this year. But again, that first game called off this year in district play was Pine Tree's problem and not Mount Pleasant that we know of. Ball on the far touchline, and it'll be thrown in by the Tigers at 31-18. And we're 0-0. There's the Tiger throw in there to the right of that big box. Good defense over there by the Wildcats. And looks like we may have had a foul. So a free kick for Mount Pleasant just outside the 18-yard box and the touchline. And here's the chip out front, headed by the Wildcats high into the air. And another good play to get it out of there, and then a whistle blows. It must have accidentally hit the arm of the Wildcat or something, and the official blew that ball dead. Let's see what we have. Must have been a foul on the play because the Wildcats get a free kick out about 32 yards from their own goal, and they roll it downfield. It comes to David Marino, and there's a kick by Diastato. Goes off a header by Mount Pleasant. Comes to the near touchline here, and the Wildcats kick it across the near touchline. The Mount Pleasant throw in, and that time Diastato tried to go through a Mount Pleasant player and head the ball, and he got called for a foul going over that Mount Pleasant player's body there. And so a Mount Pleasant free kick about 10 yards from the midline in their own territory. And there's the Mount Pleasant kick, a strong kick toward the goal. Nice header by the Wildcats. Scoots by a Mount Pleasant player. He sends it to the far touchline, and the ball chipped down the field. Fighting for possession on that far touchline. Mount Pleasant has it broken up by the Wildcats, and they're working that far touchline. It goes across the touchline. Throw in for Mount Pleasant, and they'll chuck the ball in there. Wildcats with some good back-checking defense, but Mount Pleasant has the ball, and they kick it into Wildcats territory. But now the Wildcats send it down to Omar Hernandez. Omar will kick it over to a teammate, Diastato. Here's Alejandro moving down. Works it back over to Omar Hernandez, and it's taken off his foot by Mount Pleasant and sent to the near touchline, but they give it up right back to Omar. Omar coming in. The left-footed kick is on the way, but a good stop by the keeper from Mount Pleasant. And a whistle has blown here. And they say, I guess, that that keeper had handled the ball and then it went out of bounds. So the Wildcats have a corner kick with 28:31 left here in the first half. So a corner kick by the Wildcats. The official running all the way over to the ball to make sure that oh, I see. The flag was not in exactly in the corner there, and the official has fixed that. Now it's ready to go, and here's a kick from the corner for the Wildcats. It's headed, but went over the top of the goal, so it'll be a goal kick from Mount Pleasant. Nice idea on the header. It was just too strong. Instead of going into the net, it went over. So Mount Pleasant will kick it out of there, and then a whistle blows. And they're going to have to do that over again. The Wildcats are bringing in a couple of new players. Edgar Salazar and also Jorge Santa Cruz come in for the Wildcats. So goal kick for Mount Pleasant, 27-33 is the kick out of the goal. It's on that far touchline. Mount Pleasant has it. They move it down there, and then a couple of players hit the ground, and let's see, the official moves in and calls a foul on the Wildcats. This will be out about 39 yards from the goal, pretty close to the football sideline. So just barely off that far touch line over there. And so a free kick from Mount Pleasant out from about 39 yards. And there's the kick. It's right out in front, blocked by the Wildcats. They try to get it out of there. Mount Pleasant keeping it in. Kick toward the goal, went to the left. And goal kick for A-Rod. In the goal for the Wildcats, Alex Rodriguez. A nose guard this football season for the Wildcats football team. Kicks it out of there, and Mount Pleasant right back on the attack, but broken up by the Wildcats. And there's a kick by Passion down the field, headed by Mount Pleasant back into Wildcats territory as they're moving it around on the defense. Passion with a strong kick into Mount Pleasant territory. They'll pass around the defense. The Wildcats, Edgar Salazar chasing the ball, but it's on the far touchline. Mount Pleasant bringing it up the field. They'll kick toward the middle of the field and now to the near touchline. Mount Pleasant just keeps it in bounds, and now they'll kick deeper into their defense to start offense. Kind of the Columbus method. If you want to go one way, you head the other. There's a ball on the far touchline, kicked high into the air, headed by Mount Pleasant, a header by Passion. And the Wildcats have it, and they'll kick it up the field, but Mount Pleasant intercepts. And they find a player in the middle of the field out about 35 yards. A kick went off of Wildcat Chanez, and now the Wildcats on the attack, and they get it over to Alex Yanez. Yanez knocked off the ball. Diastato comes up. Yanez mixing it up in there too, but possession stays with Mount Pleasant. Now the ball heads down the field to the Wildcats defense, and they're on the far touchline. Now the ball squirts out, and Mount Pleasant has it, and they're in Wildcats territory as they start the attack on the near touchline with a good pass. Wildcats marking them. Oh, a kick between the officials' legs. Now a player coming in from the right side from Mount Pleasant. Wildcats trying to mark that player, and the ball went over the end line. Mount Pleasant touched it last. It'll be a goal kick for Alex Rodriguez at 24:39. We're 0-0 here from Gerald Prim Stadium. And the kick by A-Rod here. Big ball game for the Wildcats. They start out the district with probably the two teams favored to be 1 and 2 in the district, and they catch them at home. You don't want to lose both of those games to open up district play. There was a kick on goal by Mount Pleasant, went to the left of the goal from our perspective. And A-Rod again will kick from the edge of the small box. We're at 24:05 to play here in the first half. 0-0 from Gerald Prim Stadium, and there's the kick by Rodriguez and headed by Mount Pleasant. A whistle blows and a foul on the Wildcats, so a free kick from Mount Pleasant. This will be out about 49 yards, and it's on the hash mark. From our perspective, the left hash mark. And here's the kick by Mount Pleasant, thundered toward the goal and caught in the air by Alex Rodriguez. He will punt this one out of there, I think. And yes, he will. And he gets a sky-high punt, and it's going to go out of bounds right close to Coach Alexi Upton in front of the Wildcats dugout. So a Mount Pleasant throw-in coming up here. And there's the throw-in for Mount Pleasant. Alex Chanez again, very feisty on defense. Too feisty, the officials say, says that he fouled the player. And so a free kick for Mount Pleasant. This is about 51 yards out between the hash and the sideline for football. And this Mount Pleasant, the player will kick it down the field for Mount Pleasant, and it's going to roll all the way across the end line. And that is out of bounds on Mount Pleasant without anybody else touching that ball. And Alex Rodriguez with a kick from the edge of the small box at 22-24, the first half, 0-0. Neither team with much of a chance at all in the early going here, as the defense has been very good. Here's a kick by Rodriguez out of there. Wildcats send it further down the field up near the midline. And now the Wildcats trying to work it out to Diastato. Kicks it up to Yanez, Alex Yanez, now stopped by Mt.Pleasant. There's a good header by the Wildcats defense. It's on that far touchline, but that header went out of bounds, and so it'll be a Mt.Pleasant throw-in. And there's the throw-in at 21:45. We're 0-0 here from Gerald Prim Stadium. And the Tigers kick it down the field. And the player hits the deck. Oh, he's going to pull out a card here. And there's a yellow card. Bryant Sanchez, I think, got it. And that, you know, that's interpretation. I think Alexi Upton thinks that's a bum steer. But, you know, that's a evaluation of a danger with the tackle that Sanchez had there, or the play he made. And that'll set up a Mt.Pleasant free kick from out about 32 yards. Just a yard or two off the left hash mark. And here's the Mt.Pleasant kick on the way. A-Rod's got it, went right to him. And he mashes that ball into the ground. Emphasize, I've got it. And there's the punt by Rodriguez. It's a good one. It's going to hit and go across the midline. Mt.Pleasant will kick it back into their defense, and they'll go all the way back to the back defenders. And they play catch back there with the feet, of course. And now they'll work it to the far touchline. And now they'll work it up the field a little bit with Mt.Pleasant controlling that ball with passing. Now it's on the near touchline. They're still deep in their own territory. The Wildcats have a player that was in there. That was Edgar Salazar kind of messing around in there and caused Mt.Pleasant to kick it out of bounds as Salazar was trying to break away there. And Mt.Pleasant ended up kicking it out of bounds. Throw in for the Wildcats. Passion. It's tipped toward the goal, and then it's still up in the air. It's kicked out to the center. The Wildcats trying to settle it down for a shot, and they get it over to Passion. And Passion's kick partially blocked, and then Mt.Pleasant thunders it into the defense. The Wildcats defender back there as Mt.Pleasant races down the field. A player trying to get in from Mt.Pleasant. A-Rod comes up. Well, they sent it right out in front. Mt.Pleasant couldn't get there. The Wildcats trying to get it out. Now they get it to the side, way over by the touchline, and it goes out of bounds, but kicked off of a Mt.Pleasant player. Oh, my. A-Rod had committed to stopping the kick on one side, and it was centered back across. But luckily, Mt.Pleasant players could not catch up to that. Wildcats now have the ball, trying to get out of their defensive end with Joel Passion, and he was fouled as he was dribbling up the field. And this will be a free kick for the Wildcats, about 35 yards outside of their own goal, and probably 25 from the midline. And the kick for the Wildcats, one of their defenders will take this. And there's a kick out of there. Strong kick for the Wildcats, but it does go out of bounds. Was kicked near the near touchline and ended up going out of bounds. So throw in from Mt.Pleasant once they chase that ball down. That was Diastato with that strong kick for the Wildcats. And now the official showing that player exactly where he wants him to throw that ball in. At 18:50, we're tied 0-0 here from Prim Stadium. Passion with a kick back across the field, but Mt.Pleasant has it. They work the far touchline, but they kicked it right into their dugout. So it'll be a Wildcats throw in on the far touchline. We're at 18:32, and 0-0 is the score. And now a couple of new players in there for the Wildcats. This will be Aubrey Camacho, and also Angel Andino are in for the Wildcats. As Coach Upton is using this large roster of 25 players. Throw in for the Wildcats. They send it a little deeper, and then Mt.Pleasant will kick it out of bounds. Hops up into the visitor stands here at Prim. Pretty good following over there compared to what we usually see from the visitors. I'm sure Mount Pleasant travels pretty well with a good soccer program with a lot of tradition. The Wildcats trying to get out of their defensive end. They send it across the midline, and here come the Wildcats down the field, but Mount Pleasant got there first, but they kicked it out of bounds. Throw in for the Wildcats. Taking that throw was going to be Camacho, but now he will defer to Passion. And Joel Passion to throw in for the Wildcats. Sends it down the field, headed by Mount Pleasant, but backwards, and then a left-footed kick hops into the stands, prim, and it'll be a throw in for Passion and the Wildcats deep in Mount Pleasant territory with 17:10 left to play here in the first half. Neither team that's required the keeper to have a really stunning save during the early going. There's Passion's throw toward the goal. It's right out in front. Mount Pleasant will boot it out of there. Wildcats defenders are up. There's a header. Mount Pleasant trying to get it to go, but good job of breaking it up for the Wildcats. They kick it down to Omar Hernandez. Omar trying to maneuver in and kicks it to David Marino and sent further and then kicked out of there by Mount Pleasant. Ball now on the far touchline. Here come the Tigers down the field. They'll kick it down there, but broken up by the Wildcats defense. And they get it down the field to Alex Yanez. He works it back to a teammate. Now back to Yanez. And he'll kick it to the far touchline, booted down the field in the general direction of Omar Hernandez. Omar on the move. Omar splitting a couple of defenders, moving in, kicks. And I don't know if that was deflected or whether he kicked it to the right of the goal, but it stayed to the right. And now we'll have a Wildcats corner kick, as that obviously did deflect, and that made it out of bounds off Mount Pleasant. Corner kick, and taking that for the Wildcats is Alex Chanez. Looks like he's a left-footed kicker. Not that familiar with Alex. I haven't seen a lot of him. There's his left-footed kick, and it's right out in front. The Wildcats trying to put a header on it. It's some garbage in front. Oh, there was a kick on goal, and a player holding his head because he had a whale of a shot there and just sailed it too high. So a near miss for the Wildcats, and Mount Pleasant with their kick out of the goal puts it back in play. David Marino, but Mount Pleasant gets it back. And here comes the Tigers, but a good job of breaking that up by the Wildcats defense. Now the ball high in the air, headed by Mount Pleasant, chested down to the ground by the Wildcats. They get it to Alex Chanez, down to Omar Hernandez. Omar trying to find a teammate. He was trying to get it to Edgar Salazar. It's on the far touchline. Edgar still chasing over there. And Wildcats moving it in over there, and then he slipped and fell. And let's see, there may be a foul on that. That player's still down. That is so far across the field, it's hard for me to pick up a number. It'll make my eyes look bad, which they probably are, but Doug's camera will be super sharp on whoever that player was. Here's a free kick for the Wildcats after that foul. This one's about 25 yards out, but it's right on that far touchline. So kind of an angle here, not exactly in the middle of the field for the Wildcats. Here comes their free kick with the left foot. It's chipped toward the goal, headed out by Mount Pleasant as players digging in, try to get the ball. Now it goes across the near touchline, throw in for the Wildcats, and Joel Passion is all over that to throw it in. We're at 13:51 here in the first half, 0-0. The ball into the edge of the box, kicked out by Mount Pleasant, chested down. Now another player has it for the Wildcats, trying to open for a shot. Mount Pleasant's defense swarming all over the place. Alex Yanez moving in. Now Mount Pleasant will chip it across the far touchline, throw in for the Wildcats. A defender comes down to throw in on that far side of the field. There's the throw in for the Wildcats. And now still stuck on that far touchline. The Wildcats trying to pry it loose. Ball on that far touchline. It goes out of bounds, and it'll be a Mount Pleasant throw in. With just over 13 to play in the first half, we're 0-0. Threw in and headed out by the Wildcats. Mount Pleasant will pick up about 10 yards of territory and do it again. And they now have it on the far touchline as they try to come out of their defensive end. Kick down the field right at the midline. Now kick back into Mount Pleasant's defense and further into the defense as they set their offense by going into the defense. And again, the defensive players pass the ball deep in their own territory. Wildcats hoping for a mistake down there. They have some players chasing the ball. Here's Joel Passion moving up and trying to get control of the ball. Chips it toward the middle of the field. That's Alex Chanez, I believe, and over to one of the Wildcats. Now it's on the near touchline, and it goes out of bounds. Wildcat defender there was Brian Gonzalez, but it was out of bounds off of Mount Pleasant, so they have to get the ball out of the dugout. And here's Passion's throw in, and it went out of bounds off Mount Pleasant, so another throw in for Passion and the Wildcats. He looks to be throwing in the general direction of Omar Hernandez. Omar back to Passion. Passion having to chase this one. Rolls it over to, that was Gonzalez. Now further down the field for the Wildcats. They get it to Omar again. Omar moving in. Omar Hernandez moving in, passing to a teammate. Here's the foot kick right on goal. That required a good save. David Marino with a nice left-footed kick. But the keeper was up to the task. That was a pretty good chance by Marino. But the keeper just in a good spot there made a good save. Still tied 0-0, 11-13 left here in the first half as Mount Pleasant has kicked the ball out of bounds. Throw in for the Wildcats. And again, Joel Passion down toward Omar Hernandez. Omar kicks to the middle of the field, hit by David Marino. There's a header by the Wildcats, but Mount Pleasant's got it, but taken off his foot by Alex Yanez. Yanez on the move, trying to put on some moves, kicks back to the defense. They'll roll it up the field, but Mount Pleasant takes it, and here they come on the fly, but a good block there by the Wildcats. Mount Pleasant again, now they'll try the far touchline with a player coming in rapidly and kicks it to a teammate there, and they'll send it across the field. The Wildcats back checking nicely there by Passion. There's a kick toward goal. It's in the goal for Mount Pleasant. Oh my, they had A-Rod on the move, and he tried to move back toward the ball, and Mount Pleasant put it in the goal from about 45 yards out. And Mount Pleasant leads 1-0 at 10:26. And I hate to say I did not get that goal score. It's hard to see those numbers on those white jerseys with those yellow numerals. The ones that are on the near side are not too bad, but if you go past midfield, forget about it. But that was a nice goal by Mount Pleasant at 10:26. And now the Wildcats trying to get even here, and they'll kick the ball down the field deep into Mount Pleasant territory. And once again, they've got Edgar Salazar chasing the ball on the far touchline. Wildcats trying to get it loose, but Mount Pleasant on the attack. They move it down the field. Mount Pleasant kind of smelling blood, wanting another quick goal here, and they got it through to A-Rod. Some of the Wildcats kind of threw some blocks there without making contact and making Mount Pleasant players going around them so A-Rod could get to that ball, and he punts it out of there and off of Omar Hernandez, who had a tiger on his back, but no call on that. Omar holds out the hands like, what the heck was that? Wearing that guy like a fur coat there. But no call on that, and now Mount Pleasant coming out of their defensive end. They've got it on the near touchline. They just keep it in bounds. They kick it up the field, and once again, the Wildcats kind of trying to intercept a pass, but Mount Pleasant doing a good job of passing. And now the ball squirted down the field on that far touchline. A Mount Pleasant player coming in with a lot of time and space kicks it down the field, and once again it'll roll all the way to Alex Rodriguez. Joel Passion kind of escorted that one there to make sure that a Mount Pleasant player didn't come near it. Good kick out of there by Rodriguez. Comes down to Alex Yanez. Yanez will find David Marino. And further down the field, but broken up by Mount Pleasant. Goes off Wildcats defender there, Matthew Clark. And we have a foul on Mount Pleasant. The Wildcats will have a free kick from out about 50 yards. So the Wildcats with a free kick. This one is on the hash mark, the left hash. So near the middle of the field, there's a left-footed kick chipped down toward the goal. It's right out in front. Here's the kick. It is blocked and then sent to the side, and then Mount Pleasant will boom it out of there, and it'll end up in their dugout. So should be a throw-in for the Wildcats. And coming in, a couple of new players. Well, Diastato returns, Alejandro Diastato, and also coming in is Garrett Reams. Reams looks like a large fellow out there. He's got some pretty good size for Alex Reams, or Garrett Reams, excuse me. And Wildcats throw in right over there by the Mount Pleasant dugout. It goes across the touchline again. Another Wildcats throw in. This will gain about 15 yards. Wildcats still out about 40. And there's a throw in for the Wildcats on that far touchline. Players trying to pry it loose. The Wildcats have it, trying to maneuver around that Mount Pleasant defense. And out of bounds, and well, actually a foul is called on Mount Pleasant. The Wildcats will get another free kick out about 33 yards. It's right on the football sideline on the far side of the field. So kind of an angle here for the Wildcats for this left-footed kick. 7:08 left in the first half. Mount Pleasant leading 1-0. There's that left-footed kick, and that keeper rises above the other players and makes that catch. It's good to be keeper. You get to use those hands. Mount Pleasant with some good passes gets it across the midline. Diastato back checking, but Mount Pleasant will work to the far side as they bring it down the field in a hurry. Wildcats take it away on defense. They'll kick the ball high in the air down the field. Mount Pleasant got a solid header on it. It creeps through, but the Wildcats hammer it down into the offensive end for the Wildcats, and they kick it further down the field. Omar Hernandez trying to get it back. And now a kick by Mount Pleasant will go out of bounds. Throw in for the Wildcats about halfway down into Mount Pleasant territory. There's a throw in for the Wildcats. They keep it on that far touchline. Here's a kick toward the center of the field, headed out by Mount Pleasant. And they kick it further out and then head it further out, right at the midline. Good header by the Wildcats, and there's a kick. I believe that was Marino kicked it down the field. It's on the near touchline here, and Mount Pleasant working it up the field and kick it to the other side of the field while the Wildcats are trying to get it back. Now they'll kick it Mount Pleasant deep into their own territory, and their defenders play catch, but that was a kick toward one guy that couldn't get to it, and it went out of bounds, which means a throw in for Reams and the Wildcats. They kick it back to Garrett Reams. Now it's kicked down the field and chipped out of bounds by the Wildcats. It was chipped out of bounds there by Brian Gonzalez. So throw in for Mount Pleasant. 5:24 left here in the first half, and Mount Pleasant leads 1-0. They scored at 10:26 of the first half. Here's a kick, but right to Alex Yanez, but taken off his foot by Mount Pleasant. And Mount Pleasant counterattacks. And here they come with a player kicking it, and a player coming in from the left side for Mount Pleasant having a hard time containing that ball, and it went across the touchline. Oh, he was giving it a supreme effort there. And now Mount Pleasant maneuvering, kicking to the center of the field. The Wildcats trying to get it out of harm's way there, and it's sent up the field. And here's Mount Pleasant with a strong kick, headed by the Wildcats defense. Another Wildcats defender touched it, and David Marino hammered it down the field. Comes down to a new Wildcat there, Uriel Santa Cruz. He kicked it down the field, but here comes Mount Pleasant. 4:24 left here in the first half. Wildcats down 1-0. Official said to play on there in case there was any question, as a Mount Pleasant player looked like he had lost his balance, but the official said no foul, play on. Wildcats take that ball away, and then a whistle blows, but it may have been back behind the play. It didn't. That looked like a clean takeaway there, but no, that's exactly where they're. Wow, I wonder about that. About a 60-yard from the goal kick right on the midline for Mount Pleasant, and they thunder it down the field, and taken by Alex Rodriguez. I think that was going to head to our right, to the right of the goal from our perspective, and there's the punt by A-Rod. headed by Mount Pleasant, and that was the negative. Reams battling for the ball for the Wildcats. Kick to the center of the field, and Mount Pleasant goes to the far side. There's 3:18 left. We do have an update on the Wildcats basketball game, and we'll get you to that when I can. But right now we're in I've got some final soccer action for this first half. And the Wildcats trying to get out of their own end. They kick it up the field and send it toward Omar Hernandez. Omar breaks in. Looks like he's onside, but the keeper from Mount Pleasant got there just ahead of him and booted the ball down the field. The crowd got excited about that. But Omar, as fast as he is, could not get there. And there's Reams kicking the ball off the official, and then the Mount Pleasant player got knocked over. And Reams, in pursuit of the ball, just kind of stumbled right over him. And a foul the official calls. So 4 yards from the midline, Mount Pleasant kick from their own territory. 2:25 left here in the first half. Mount Pleasant leading 1-0. Mount Pleasant has it to the right of the goal. They kick. Mount Pleasant player tried to put a foot on it. It was a high ball, and he stretched as far as he could, but the ball went out of bounds, and it'll be a goal kick for the Wildcats. Alex Rodriguez kicking from the ground off of a Mount Pleasant player, and he had a handball. Wildcats put it into play quickly here as they come down the field. They kick it back to Diastato, I believe, up the field. There's Reams with the ball. Now it's on the near side. A whistle blows, and this time the foul went as Reams was fouled. And so Omar Hernandez puts it in play quickly at 1:33, but the official is going to bring that one back. He was not ready for play to start. And so it'll be a free kick for the Wildcats out about 57 yards, just 3 yards from the midline for Alejandro Diastato. Several Diastatos have played soccer at Sulphur Springs, male and female. There's a kick by Alejandro. It's right out in front. Mount Pleasant getting there to it and kicking it down the field back up near the midline. Wildcats defenders. Diastato moves it down the field. David Marino, he works it down to Salazar. And Omar Hernandez down there, but broken up by Mount Pleasant. It looked like the start of something good for the Wildcats. They just could not continue. And now here's Mount Pleasant breaking in. The Wildcats back on defense, trying to slow them down, and they do. Mount Pleasant has a player circling, and now we'll kick it down the field. A good pass. Player moving in, opening up for a shot, but Reams turned his back to it and took the shot right in the back. A good block by Reams that kept that from possibly being a shot on goal. Now here come the Wildcats. Here's Salazar. He works it to Omar Hernandez. Omar with the left foot. He didn't get much on it. It was a two-hopper, and the goalkeeper able to take care of that. Not one of the laser beams by Omar that we've seen before. And we're at all zeros here. We've reached half, and it's Mount Pleasant 1 and the Wildcats 0, 1 goal at the 10:26 mark. Wildcats are out there forming a circle out there with Alexi Upton and as part of that, as here comes Mount Pleasant out of the locker room. And Coach Upton trying to fire these guys up for a second half against a tough Mount Pleasant team that's always good. They just have had a tradition of being good soccer players. And Jason Mayfield in a long line of Mayfields, well, actually just him and his daddy for a lot of years coaching soccer in Mount Pleasant. And a quality program indeed. Jason's a delight to talk to, too. He can tell you a lot about soccer history, and he's seen a lot of things. And Coach Upton, you know, in his third season, just kind of getting started here. Coach Mayfield commended Coach Upton for his enthusiasm and his energy. He said he creates positive energy with those Wildcats. Mount Pleasant should have the ball as we start the second half, the teams will be heading in opposite directions. Mount Pleasant will but now be traveling left to right across our radio dial. The Wildcats will be heading right to left. It reminds me of Judge Cletus Millsap. He always liked when I did that. He could have that mental image of just which way on that radio dial that the Wildcats were going. Here's a kick deep into Wildcats territory to start this second half. Mount Pleasant has the ball deep, and now it creeps across the touchline. And they're going to say, they're called a foul on the Wildcats, so a free kick down there pretty deep for Mount Pleasant. It's almost like a corner kick. Here's the kick on the way. A-Rod reaches up and snags the ball to get it out of harm's way. 39-30, we're in the second half. It's Mount Pleasant 1 and the Wildcats 0 here from Gerald Prim Stadium. Wildcats trying to get it out of their defensive end. Right now it's Angel Andino with the ball, but Mount Pleasant takes it away. Players collide over there. Mount Pleasant's got it on the far touchline. They kick toward the middle. The Wildcats kick it out of there, but we've got a whistle. Had a Mount Pleasant player down, and they're going to say he was fouled. So Mount Pleasant will get another juicy free kick. This one out about 30 yards. It's between the far hash mark and that far sideline on the football field. So a little bit of an angle, but just 30 yards out. This is juicy here for Mount Pleasant. And there's the kick toward the goal. A-Rod he grabbed it, knocked it down, and the Wildcats had to kick it out of there. And then the Wildcats kick it further down the touchline. Here comes Mount Pleasant on the attack, blocked by the Wildcats, and here they come in a big hurry. Looks like down the field toward Omar Hernandez, broken up by Mount Pleasant, but David Marino keeps it on the move, but Mount Pleasant kicks it out of there. Goes past a couple of players, and we're going to have a whistle here, and looks like a foul on Mount Pleasant now, and have a free kick for the Wildcats from about 10 yards from the midline. As the Wildcats, Diastato, I believe, will kick that out of there. Kick by Diastato. It goes off a Mount Pleasant player, and here they come out of their end as they get it across the midline. And a whistle blows, and players colliding out there. And we're going to have another card, looks like. David Marino trying to make a case, but we have a card out there. So another yellow card, I think. So another card. The Wildcats have picked up a couple tonight here in this Mount Pleasant game. And Alejandro Diastato is coming off. So not exactly sure. There looked like players colliding there as they were running up the field, and the official felt that was necessary to call a card on. So the official talking to the other official kind of reminds me of one of the NFL officials one time where he made the call, and he said that the player was guilty of giving another player the business. And that's what that looked like. That's what giving somebody the business would look like. So apparently the players got entangled, and the official felt like there was some punishment going on there. And Coach Upton now trying to make a case to the official. This is probably like a appeal to if you have to appeal to the same judge that made the initial ruling, it's not going to go any different. But he let Coach Upton have his say, and Coach Upton did it in such a manner that he didn't draw the ire of the official. As long as you don't question anybody's heritage, you should be all right. Mount Pleasant will get a free kick after the card for the Wildcat player. Did you tell, Doug, was that a red card, do you think?
I don't know. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I could not tell either. Going to have to get some new cards, officials. I have a hard time seeing. They're not real shiny. But a card anyway. If it is a red, then that means that Diastato will not play anymore. If it's a yellow, he'll be back, but he'll have to sit for a while. Free kick for Mount Pleasant just inside their territory. They thunder it down the field, and it's going to go through all the way past the end line. And this is going to be a corner kick from Mt. Pleasant. Boy, they have really had the best of the breaks here in the second half as they're putting on the pressure here. And here's a corner kick and headed out of there by the Wildcats. Mt. Pleasant trying to keep it around the goal. Another header, got it out for the Wildcats, and now they're going to be a Mt. Pleasant foul among all that stuff and have a free kick coming up for the Wildcats deep in their own territory. Out about, maybe 20, 22 yards or something out of their own goal. Kicked by Alex Rodriguez. Now the Wildcats trying to come out of their defensive end. And David Marino got a foot on it. Now Mt. Pleasant will kick it out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for the Wildcats. 36-26 left here in the second half. Wildcats trailing just 1-0. Now the ball kicked down the field. The Wildcats have it. They get it to Marino. He kicks it toward Salazar. And here's a player motoring in for the Wildcats. They try to keep it in the field, but out of bounds it goes. Throw in for Mt. Pleasant. Wildcat Angel Andino chasing the ball. Andino continues to pursue. Mt. Pleasant has a player kind of out in front, but he couldn't control the ball. And then a foul on Mt. Pleasant. So it'll be a free kick for the Wildcats. I think that whistle stopped that play. And once again, Alex Rodriguez with the ball down on the ground, about 23 yards outside of the goal, will put his foot into it and kick it into Mt. Pleasant territory. And it's right at the midline, but Mt. Pleasant has it. And they come across the midline with a good pass, and then they'll send it down that far touchline, and the Wildcats will kick it up into the seats over there, the visiting seats at the Prim. But they say it went off Mt. Pleasant, so there's passion with a throw-in for the Wildcats. Mt. Pleasant trying to come up that far touchline. The Wildcats trying to pry it loose. They had it pried loose for a while. Mt. Pleasant player falls, and they play on. Wildcats still trying to get possession. Now they kick it down the field. Wildcats continuing to try to put on some pressure here. They kick toward the middle. Mt. Pleasant got there first. And now a tackle and a foul called on the Wildcats. That was on Matthew Clark as he was trying to pry that ball away. Once again, the Wildcats making a case to the official. And he did not like that. He chased that player away. Looks like he's fishing for another card there. Yeah, let's see what we got here. Just taking some notes, I guess, on maybe that was a warning or something. Here's a kick by Mt. Pleasant. It's 39 yards out, and it went right through the goalpost. Unfortunately, this is not football, so that will not count as a three-pointer. Boy, that'd be a way to catch up in soccer, wouldn't it? If you can kick it through those uprights. That's technically, they're not supposed to be there. That is not a part of the soccer field, so that's dead territory, those goalposts. Wildcats kick it out. Mt. Pleasant rallies, and ball goes out of bounds off the Wildcats across the end line, so corner kick from Mt. Pleasant. And they've really had the heat on here in the second half with that 1-0 lead, and they're trying to expand on it. Here's a corner kick. And it is out in front. It's still out in front. The Wildcats get it out of there. And Mount Pleasant trying to keep it in. There's a header by the Wildcats. They kind of get it to the side. Player bowled over, and they're going to call that as a foul on the Wildcats. And a free kick for Mount Pleasant. This will be out about 23 yards. It's kind of to the even the left of the big box. So extreme, a little bit of an extreme angle, but certainly not impossible. There's a kick. It's right out in front. The Wildcats repel it. Mount Pleasant moving in for a shot on goal. It's right out in front and headed into the goal as the player followed it right into the goal. A header for Mount Pleasant, and they are up 2-0. That goal scored at 32:55. And Mount Pleasant is up 2-0. Boy, they had that ball. They kicked it. Alex Rodriguez got it out of there, and it kind of bounced around, and a Mount Pleasant player headed it into the goal and then chased it right in there. I think in hockey, you can actually be called for in the goal, but soccer obviously not, because that player certainly went right in there after that goal. The Wildcats trying to maneuver the ball down on the near touchline. It's kicked into the Wildcats territory, and they'll head it back toward Alex Rodriguez. And Alex will punt it out of there, I believe, at 32-32, and Mount Pleasant with a 2-0 lead in this one. So the Wildcats on the verge of course, they still got 32 minutes. Don't want to give up on them yet, but they're on the verge of starting 0-2 in district play against two of the best teams in the region. And Mount Pleasant now bringing the ball up. Angel Andino with a sliding block on the play, and that's going to be a foul on Mount Pleasant. And so a free kick for the Wildcats. This will be about 10 yards or so, about 8 yards from the midline. And there is Gonzalez, who kicked it up the field for the Wildcats. There's Salazar has it. He kicks it back to Passion, and he rolls it back to Salazar, and he kicks it back to Passion. And he sent it to the middle of the field, but intercepted by Mount Pleasant. Now they're on the attack, and they're coming in there. Kicked it, went off a Wildcats defender, continuing to maneuver down. Player in the middle of the field trying to get around the defender. Good play by the Wildcats defense. I think that was David Marino has kicked down the field. The Wildcats now kind of with a breakaway. Here's a player maneuvering down, sends Marino on the right side. Boy, there was a big collision there as the ball went sailing out of bounds. It'll be a throw in for the Wildcats, or excuse me, for Mount Pleasant. And actually, I think more than a throw-in, it's going to be a free kick after that contact by the Wildcats down there. And Mount Pleasant with even inside the 18-yard box. So there's a strong kick across the midline, headed by the Wildcats. But Mount Pleasant has it as they pass it around in their defense. Angel Andino puts on some pressure, and Mount Pleasant kicks it further in the defense and even further back. Must have a lot of faith in those back players on defense to hold the line there. Mount Pleasant, a bad pass, and Marino takes it. Marino moving in. Will kick back toward Passion. Passion moving in. Back to David Marino in the center of the field. He kicks it down the field. And a player bursting in there for the Wildcats. There's a kick on goal. Didn't get much on it. That kick was taken by Uriel Santa Cruz, but the keeper handled it. But a good effort by Santa Cruz. And now Mount Pleasant bringing the ball, trying to get out of their defensive end. They'll try the near touchline here as they bring the ball up the field at 29-42, and Mount Pleasant with a 2-0 lead. There's a kick. Marino has it for the Wildcats. Marino moving in. Marino and knocked off his foot out of bounds by Mount Pleasant. Throw in for the Wildcats. Joel Passion will come down to throw in for the Wildcats. At 29-18. Here's Passion's throw in. Santa Cruz got bowled over there, had a player on his back. He's still down on the turf, but Officials lets them play on here. Now the ball goes out of bounds, throw in for the Wildcats. Now there's a scrum over there. Now players are breaking up. Not much to that. I wasn't sure why everybody wanted to gather around there, but now it looks like it's coming back up the field here. No, it's not. Throw in for the Wildcats. Officials just locating themselves. The Wildcats trying to get the move on here is Angel Andino. Now it's kicked back into the Wildcats defense, and they'll send it down the field. That's to Bo Bankston, and goes out of bounds. Throw in for Mount Pleasant. And they're in no particular hurry as they've got the lead. I think this throw in coming by Miguel Rubio here for Mount Pleasant. 28:08 left in the second half, and it's 2-0 Mount Pleasant. Omar Hernandez gets it back to Marino, back to Omar, taken off his foot by Mount Pleasant. And here they come in a big hurry, steaming down the field. Wildcats defense trying to fall back. The defense got there first, and it's near out of bounds. They let Mount Pleasant continue to play it as a player burrowing in there. Wildcats defender fell down, and it's going to be a foul on Mount Pleasant. Wildcats deep in their own territory. And they will get a free kick. Looks like they're going to let a substitute in there, and coming in is Jose Rodriguez for the Wildcats. As Coach Upton continues to play different players. Lady Cats 0, Mount Pleasant 0 from Sam Parker Stadium over there in Mount Pleasant in the second half. So a defensive struggle going on with Lady Cats and Mount Pleasant. Wildcats are down 23-7 in basketball at the half. So now you're up to date on some other things. Mount Pleasant had the ball. They kick it. The Wildcats come in. Angel Andino trying to find a teammate. That's broken up by Mount Pleasant. And here comes Mount Pleasant on the move. Player's got a little time and space, finds a teammate across the field moving in, trying to open up for a shot. There's a kick. Well, it sailed high and went through the uprights. And so a goal kick for the Wildcats. So the Wildcats continuing to have trouble scoring points in basketball as they've had two extremely cold quarters against Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant not lighting it up, but they're certainly scoring more than the Wildcats, 23-7 at the half. Mount Pleasant's had 11 and 12. The Wildcats have had 2 and 5. So tough sledding for the Wildcats in that one. They'll have another half to try to turn that around. Mount Pleasant throws the ball in from the far touchline. It goes out of bounds and be a goal kick for the Wildcats. And Alex Rodriguez will take that with the ball down at the edge of the small box. We're at 25-25 here in the second half. Mount Pleasant with a goal in each half, and they lead 2-0. Ball is kicked out of there, and Mount Pleasant again putting on the pressure on the far touchline. And kicked deeper into Mount Pleasant's defense, but they've got control of the ball. And they bring it across the field and now kick to the middle. And they'll work it to the far side as they maneuver across the midline with some deft passing. Now Angel Andino takes the ball off Mount Pleasant's foot. Left-footed kick down the field, but chested down by Mount Pleasant. Alex Yanez, chasing that ball was Alex Yanez. And now Omar Hernandez trying to catch up to the ball. And the Mount Pleasant player fell, and Omar is steaming in for the Wildcats. Omar Hernandez works it toward Salazar. That's Alex Yanez trying to set up for a shot. He gets it over to Santa Cruz. That's Uriel Santa Cruz working on that near touchline. Now the ball's kicked up the field and goes out of bounds. It'll be a Wildcat throw-in. We're at 24-14, and throwing in for the Wildcats will be Jose Rodriguez. Rodriguez with a throw in to Alex Yanez. And here's Angel Andino. And now Mount Pleasant thunders it back down the field. The Wildcats defense turns and chases, and Joel Passion will get there first. And now Passion, trying to head back up the field, goes around one player, and then he was dumped, and he was fouled by Mount Pleasant. Free kick for the Wildcats in their own territory, about 15 yards from the midline. We're at 23-41, and Mount Pleasant leading 2-0. Angel Andino will kick the ball deep. Goes off of Uriel Santa Cruz. Now Mount Pleasant boots the ball high in the air. Nice header there by Andino. And now back checking by the Wildcats, and the official will call a foul on Uriel Santa Cruz. Coach Upton protesting, but again, appeal denied. There's a kick down the field for Mount Pleasant. Players getting together, and whistle blows. And that Mount Pleasant foul did not please that player. So a free kick for the Wildcats, 30 yards outside their goal. Now they bring the ball up the field, and a kick down toward Omar Hernandez. Goes on the far touchline. Mount Pleasant has it as they're passing around in their defensive end. They move it up near the touchline. Blocked by the Wildcats, but now kicked downfield, but the Wildcats have it. And that was Rodriguez who kicked it off of a Mount Pleasant player, and he'll throw the ball in at 22-28. And a couple Wildcats will send in Alan Hernandez, Edgar Salazar, and also Jorge Santa Cruz. And also in is, well, we mentioned Bo Bankston. We mentioned him a while ago, so he remains in there. There's a throw in for the Wildcats as they get it in to Edgar Salazar. It's rolled over there to Jorge Santa Cruz. Wildcats trying to get possession, and Mount Pleasant pries it loose, and here they come on the attack. There was a player hit in the back, and then he dived like he was shot with a 12-gauge shotgun. There was a little contact on the back, but I don't think enough to really cause that. That looked like a dive to me, but the official's going to call that. That's what counts. Sometime you win the Oscar, these soccer games. And here's a kick on the goal toward Mount Pleasant, and taken by Alex Rodriguez as a Mount Pleasant player almost got there and just missed it. Rodriguez kicks it out of there, headed by Mount Pleasant. They'll keep it in the Wildcats' end. And now Mount Pleasant works into the defense, but the ball is stolen, and the Wildcats continuing to come down there, as that was Edgar Salazar, but taken off the foot of the Wildcats by Mount Pleasant's good defense. They're on the far touchline, bringing the ball up the field. Wildcats back checking. Mount Pleasant continues to have control as they bring the ball in. Send a player in the left side, and the Wildcats pry it loose on defense. And now try to come out of their own defensive end. Good pass up the field. And the Wildcats send Edgar Salazar down the field, but Mount Pleasant got there first and kicked it out of bounds. Be a throw in for the Wildcats. And throwing it in looks like will be Alan Hernandez. Well, actually, he went and got the ball. The throw in will be made by Jose Rodriguez. So here's Jose, and he throws it in to Salazar. Alex Chanez, excuse me. There's the kick toward the goal, and Mount Pleasant gets it, and they come out of there. The Wildcats back checking, but can't get it away from Mount Pleasant. So they bring it all the way to the near touchline. Player knocked over, and once again a yellow card, and he's going to send one of the Wildcats off. That is the third yellow card on the Wildcat tonight. I believe that is Alan Hernandez. And Angel Andino will return. So a free kick from Mount Pleasant, about 15 yards from the midline. It's right on the near touchline. And there's a thundering kick down the field. The Wildcats defense trying to get back. Mount Pleasant, a player moving in, and players trying to open up for shots. And the Wildcats will kick it out of there and just thunder it toward the far touchline. Wildcats with a header. And now they're turning and chasing, but Mount Pleasant gets there first. And Dino back checking. Wildcats trying to pry it loose. Mount Pleasant with some nice passing. Player coming in on that far touchline. Wildcats defender fell down, but whistle blows. That's going to be a foul on Mount Pleasant. About 19 left here in the second half. And it's Mount Pleasant 2 and the Wildcats 0. There's a kick by Alex Rodriguez. And the Wildcats get it back to Passion. And he kicks it down the field. Wildcats comes down to Edgar Salazar. Works on the far touchline. Across it goes. Mount Pleasant knocked it out of bounds. That was Jorge Santa Cruz over there on the far side working hard for that ball, and he got fouled. This will be about a 50-yard kick for the Wildcats. It's between the far touchline and the sideline in the football. So over on that side of the field. And Passion will either take it or the short man for the Wildcats, and the short man does with a left-footed kick down the field. And it goes all the way through and will go across the end line. That'll be a goal kick for Mount Pleasant. 18, we just went under 18 minutes here in the almost said third quarter, second half. The 3, I think, is... I'm not sure what that signifies. It's timeouts left, but here is a kick by Mount Pleasant and headed by the Wildcats. They chest the ball down, trying to get control. Nicely done there by the Wildcats, Alex Yanez. And Yanez continues. Now it's pried loose from him by Mount Pleasant, and they'll send it to the far touchline. Yanez working hard out there. Mount Pleasant will now kick it down the field. Wildcats defense turns and chases. Mount Pleasant trying to get there too. They're scrapping for the ball across that touchline. And it'll be a throw in for the Wildcats, I think. An official coming in there and directing traffic down there. Looks like a call will be throw in for Mount Pleasant, or actually a free kick, so a foul on the Wildcats. And this one's out. Well, no, they will throw it in. They just gave possession to Mount Pleasant, not a foul. And they're still on that far touchline. The Wildcats trying to break it up. Good job there by the Wildcats to get it loose. And then a player went right into his legs and got that ball loose. Now that looked dangerous to me. Here's a throw in for the Wildcats. Player come into your legs like that, but no call on that. So Mount Pleasant with the ball. They'll kick it back into their defensive end, and now they'll pump it into Wildcats territory. Ball toward, I believe that was Andino. He was dumped, and there's a kick down the field that goes out of bounds. That was Bankston, I believe. And a Mount Pleasant throw in, and again, they go after the ball about like you would head in to have root canal done slowly. But they're playing with house money here. They've got the lead 2-0, so they do not have to be up tempo. They can take their sweet time. There's a header by the Wildcats. Bankston, ball in the middle of the field, comes to Passion. He gets it over to Angel Andino with the left foot, down to Omar Hernandez. Omar trying to open up for a shot. Omar working hard against Mount Pleasant, but ball's kicked off of Tiger and goes out of bounds. And throw in for the Wildcats. Boy, every time Omar touches the ball, he's staring two Tigers right in the eyes as they are watching him closely. Ball is thrown in to Andino. Andino got around one player, but Mount Pleasant got it back, and they'll kick it down the field. And it's going to go across the touchline. And now here's a throw in by Bankston, headed by Andino. Went out of bounds, throw in Mount Pleasant. We're under 15 to play here in Gerald Prim Stadium. And Mount Pleasant leading the Wildcats 2-0. As David Marino tried to get it and go, and Mount Pleasant got the ball and kicked it across the far touchline out of bounds. So throw in for the Wildcats at 14:32. There's throw in by Passion, headed by the Wildcats, and they kick it further down the field, but Mount Pleasant breaks it up on that far touchline. Marino's got it. He's gives it over there to Alex Yanez. Yanez moving in. Had about 3 players guarding him there, and then the ball kicked out of bounds, throw in for the Wildcats. That's what I mean about looking like they've got 20 players out there. When you're playing good defense, you are swarming that ball, and that's what Mount Pleasant does with that good defense of theirs. Throw in for the Wildcats. It's headed toward the goal. It's kind of loose, but Mount Pleasant gets it out of there. Bankston chests it down, but Mount Pleasant gets to it and kicks to the far touchline. And Mount Pleasant now deeper into their territory. We're at 13:44. Mount Pleasant kicking the ball back in their defensive end. They kick this one a little bit too far, and it comes to Jose Rodriguez. Rodriguez has got it back now. Kicks toward the goal. It's a big, juicy one hopper, and the Mount Pleasant keeper handles that. And he plays with the ball, teases Omar Hernandez, and then picks it up and throws it to one of the defenders. Made Omar come all the way to the ball before he finally picked it up. Wildcats on the far touchline trying to pry the ball loose. Mount player falls down, and now the ball is pried loose, and they'll get Passion for a foul. So a kick for Mount Pleasant. Under 13 to play here in the second half. Mount Pleasant leading 2-0, a goal in each half. And other than that, just good, solid defense. That's going to be a whale of a matchup between Longview and Mount Pleasant. They're two very tough defenses. Ball in the hands of Edgar Salazar. Kick down the field, and a couple of players roll over each other. One of them was Omar Hernandez. Looks like another yellow card. And they're going to get Omar for that. That's going to be the 4th yellow card for the Wildcats, and we'll put Omar on the sideline for a while. And in comes Uriel Santa Cruz. That Mount Pleasant player finally now getting up, getting ready for the... We've played 3 in basketball over at Mount Pleasant. It's Mount Pleasant 40 and the Wildcats 24. So the lead 16 points, so no change. Looks like both teams had 17 points in that third quarter. So the Wildcats one more quarter to try to do something, as Mount Pleasant continuing to be undefeated in basketball. Wildcats 8-2 in district play, but that would wrap up the district championship for Mount Pleasant if they can get that game tonight. There's a kick toward the goal from Mount Pleasant, taken by Alex Rodriguez. Even with a loss to Sulphur Springs, all Mount Pleasant would have to do would be to beat Hallsville in Hallsville to claim the district championship anyway. But they're going to take the fastest, most efficient route, beating the Wildcats. But they've got them after 3 by 16 points. So Wildcats are going to have an enormous fourth quarter to try to pull that one out. Wildcats on the attack, but Mount Pleasant breaks it up, kicks it toward the midline, and goes off the Wildcats out of bounds. As battling there was Jose Rodriguez for the Wildcats. And a Mount Pleasant throw in. They kick it back to the near touchline. Oh, nice passing by Mount Pleasant. That's a mark of a good team. They know how to pass that ball, and they work it around their defense and control the ball as they continue to work with defenders handling the ball, kind of passing around and then working it up the field if they see an opening. And that one's going to just cross the touchline on the near side before the Mount Pleasant forward can catch up to the ball. Throw in for the Wildcats. This will be Rodriguez. And here's Jose Rodriguez with a throw in, but a whistle blows. No, it doesn't. No, they let him play. I heard a whistle, but I guess that was signaling they could throw it in. Mount Pleasant will work the ball again back into their defensive end. And they'll work it to that far touchline. Mount Pleasant playing catch back there in the defense. Now they'll boot it up the field. Players make contact. It comes over to Rodriguez. He chips it further down the field. I believe that's Alex Yanez, the left-handed foot. Nice save by the goalkeeper. That was a real chance by Alex Yanez. The keeper had to really get up on his toes there. Maybe even hop a little bit to reach way up there to get that ball. Nice shot on goal with the left foot by Alex Yanez at 9:50. And again, the Wildcats trailing 2-0. Ball chips up the field. There's Rodriguez with the ball, trying to get it loose. And knocked loose from him, but he was fouled. And now, the players squaring off with each other. A lot of pushing and shoving going on. And some cooler heads getting in there to separate the players. That's really smart, because you don't want fisticuffs or something. That can cost you quite a few games. As players kind of squaring off with each other as they were fighting for possession of the ball. Free kick taken by the Wildcats by Aubrey Camacho. And here's Camacho's kick, and he sails it toward the goal. Headed by Mt.Pleasant, it's still kind of out front. And there's a backward kick by Mt.Pleasant that goes back across the end line. But they'll say last touch by the Wildcats. So it'll be a goal kick for the Tigers. Again, they lead 2-0. We're at 8:40 left here in the second half. So the year of the Wildcats breakthrough on Mt.Pleasant, at least the first encounter, is not going to happen in 2021. And the Wildcats have not had a victory over Mt.Pleasant since '06. I believe the first time they played in district that season. And the ball on the near touchline, and it went out of bounds, so it'll come back. Be a Wildcats throw in. Just over 8 to play here in the second half. Wildcats trailing 2-0. That was actually a foul on Mt.Pleasant, so a kick for the Wildcats by Rodriguez. He sends it up the field to David Marino, and he finds Edgar Salazar. No, excuse me, that's Alex Yanez. And now Yanez was pried off the ball, and they call a Mt.Pleasant foul. This is going to be a fairly juicy place here. This is going to be out about, I'd say, 27 yards. And again, it's between the hash mark and the sideline. It'll either be taken here by Camacho. Yes, he will take it. And he rolls it down toward Alex Yanez. He kicks it back out. Camacho kicks to the center. It's kicked a mile high by Mt.Pleasant. And now Wildcats trying to settle it down, but Mt.Pleasant will thunder it out of there. Wildcats will turn and chase, but Alex Rodriguez will come way out of goal, and he will keep things going by kicking it up toward Bankston. And now Mt.Pleasant has it, and they cross the midline, and they'll kick it down the field. Bankston circles back and kicks the ball off of out of bounds on the far side. So throw in for Mt.Pleasant. We're at 6:35, and the Wildcats look like they're going to open district play with a pair of zeros. So they will really be itching to play Texas High and to score some goals when they play Friday. Mt.Pleasant kicks the ball out of bounds on the far touchline. Throw in for the Wildcats. And we're at 6:12. And the Wildcats not done so far, as they'll try another couple of players here, as they've got Garrett Reams coming in and Kaysen Blake. And Passion is going to get a rare rest, as he's had a long night out there and been an active Wildcat. And throw in for the Wildcats. It's on that far touchline. Mt.Pleasant trying to bring it up. Wildcats had possession, trying to maintain possession as they try to maneuver in Mt.Pleasant territory. Wildcats have it in their own territory now, and they'll kick it up the field. Mt.Pleasant sends it to the middle, but the Wildcats have it. They'll work it down and then back out to Rodriguez, and then knocked out of bounds by Mt.Pleasant as Edgar Salazar was trying to get it and go. Jose Rodriguez to throw in for the Wildcats. And he throws into Yanez, back to Rodriguez. And he kicks it to Camacho. That's Alex Yanez working. And he was fouled, I believe. Mount Pleasant, a player saying that, not me, but the official, once again, they do not allow much in the way of appeals on fouls. 21-yard kick by Camacho as he angles it in there. It's right out in front, and Mount Pleasant clears it out of there. Wildcats get a header on it. Mount Pleasant will get a kick on it and kick it deep. They've got a player ahead of everybody else, ahead of the field, moving in, and kicks. It went off of A-Rod. Looked like he had a knee pad on there because it really went sailing. And now it's back up around the midline, and Mount Pleasant settles it down. What a knee save. Nicely done by Alex Rodriguez, as he had a player one-on-one barreling in on him. But that guy knew the cavalry was coming behind him quickly and kind of rushed the shot. Wildcats put the ball in play with under 4 to play here in the second half. And here's Alex Yanez, a shot on goal. Too high, went through the goal post as Yanez pumped it on goal. And Yanez was hoping for a deflection, and the official will stop the clock. I guess because I think they had to retrieve some balls that went over the short fence and went back toward Houston Street. And there was no ball to play, so some young fellas are helping to round up some balls, and now Mount Pleasant will put a ball in play here. The Wildcats send it down toward Camacho and Alex Yanez, and now Mount Pleasant will kick it out of bounds. It finds the stands here at the Prim. Boy, some kids racing after that ball. That's all they'll remember tonight, not who won or lost, but that they chased down a soccer ball that went up in the stands. That kid will be thrilled the rest of the night. Throw in for Jose Rodriguez. Nice header by Mount Pleasant into Wildcats territory. And Mount Pleasant now charging on the attack. Player moving in. They say he was offside. The kick was heading left anyway. A-Rod let it go, and there was actually a foul out there in the field. And so free kick for the Wildcats out about 40 yards from their goal in their own end, about 20 yards from the midline. Under 3 to play. The clock has been stopped again. Now it's, no, not yet, because I guess they'll wait for Alex Rodriguez to touch this one off. And there we go. Off a Mount Pleasant player. He kicks it up the field. A Mount Pleasant player moving in rapidly, kicks toward the goal. That one went left. That player put so much energy in that kick that he rolled over after kicking it. He just moving as fast as he could there, but just missed the goal. So Alex Rodriguez with a kick out of goal for the Wildcats. Just 2:27 left here in the second half. And Mount Pleasant with a ball. Ball on the far touchline. Mount Pleasant with the ball. They find the middle of the field. Here's a thundering kick, and it's going to be far to the right and sailed over the short fence, and like it was heading toward Buford Park there. Here's a kick out of there by Alex Rodriguez. Under 2 minutes to play now. Wildcats trailing 2-0. Ball on the near touchline goes across. Throw in Wildcats. Jose Rodriguez throws it down toward Salazar. Out of bounds, Mount Pleasant. Throw in for the Wildcats. And once again, throwing it in will be Jose Rodriguez. Mount Pleasant again, just kicking it as long and as far as they can. Headed by the Wildcats. David Marino with a Mount Pleasant player on his back. Even grabbed his jersey and stuff, but play on. Ball down the field. Nice hitter by the Wildcats. And Mount Pleasant rolls the ball down. And now Mount Pleasant trying to break in on the goal. The player fell, but they say no way. And then A-Rod came up and fielded the ball, and the Mount Pleasant player went tumbling over A-Rod. That couldn't feel good. And that Mount Pleasant player may need some attention there as he's in that end zone as he went tumbling across Alex Rodriguez, who's now going to go over and check on that fella. I mean, all A-Rod was trying to do was get to the ball, and that's just one of those things you see happen in soccer. Both players hustling, and a Mount Pleasant player up and now walking on his own. That's a good sign. And without much hitch in the get-along, so not bad. May be able to give you a final basketball score. Have to wait for the editorial comment first. Not yet. Maybe I got the score. Okay, final score from Mount Pleasant. The Tigers win 55-34 over the WildCats, so they claim the district championship. The WildCats still in second place with an 8-3 record, and they can clinch second place by beating Texas High on senior night on Friday in the main gym on the campus, SSHS. Mount Pleasant putting on some late pressure here in the final seconds. There's a kick toward goal, and I think A-Rod deflected it up, and it hit the crossbar, which is a dead ball, so that's out of bounds. So we'll have a goal kick to end the game. Not a goal kick, but a corner kick. Mount Pleasant just rolls it in. 17 seconds left. There's a kick toward the goal, and A-Rod kind of lost it for a second, but gathered it in quickly, and he'll kick it out of there. Just seconds left now, as Mount Pleasant will win this one 2-0. And there's triple zeros, and Mount Pleasant has come in here and won by the score of 2-0. Had a goal at 10:26 and scored their second one fairly early in the second half at 32:55. Mount Pleasant 2 and the Wildcats 0. Mount Pleasant 1-0 in district play, and if they were having a tough time tonight because they didn't get a game in on Friday, which was Coach Mayfield's concern, I would say they more than compensated for that. They had enough to get the win, and they may not have been, grayed out at 100%. I'm sure he's a pretty strict coach with the quality he expects, but a pretty darn good effort by Mount Pleasant in a 2-0 win, especially defensively. They really defensed the Wildcats. So the Wildcats opened the season being shut out a couple of games at home, and so they're just going to have to rebound now and see what they can do against the rest of the district, as they'll see Marshall and Pine Tree and some of those teams. And Texas High, for example. So that'll be there may be another one I'm forgetting. But, Hallsville. I forgot Hallsville. They'll have them too. So anyway, the Wildcats lose this one by the score of 2-0. And again, that basketball final, if I can find that one more time. And that was 55-34, so a 21-point Wildcats loss. They just really had a struggling start, and they got behind and just could not make up ground in a loss to Mount Pleasant. Tough place to play. That's always a tough gym. And the Wildcats kind of had a stinkeroo in there last year. I had the privilege of doing that ball game, and sound like another stinkeroo tonight. So Mount Pleasant having a good night. We're not sure. The last Lady Cat score we had was 0-0 in the second half. And so we'll see if... Okay, Lady Cats 0, Mount Pleasant 0 into the second half and going into overtime. So real defensive struggle over there between those good soccer teams. And so... Lady Cats and Mount Pleasant, Lady Tigers going into overtime over there in Mount Pleasant, tied 0-0 after regulation. And so I think that catches you up on everything. I do not have any news yet on David Carrillo's softball scrimmage, but perhaps we'll have a report from David on that tomorrow. So that's going to wrap it up here as the Mount Pleasant Tigers defeat the Sulphur Springs Wildcats here at Gerald Prim Stadium by the score of 2-0. Again, Mount Pleasant 1-0 in district play, and the Wildcats slip to 0-2. And next for the Wildcats, they will be at home. Or excuse me, they will be away. They will be traveling to Texarkana to play Texas High. And our old buddy Jesus De Leon, the coach of those Texas High Tigers. And that'll be the Wildcats at Texas High. That'll be coming up Friday at 7:15. So, James Terry running spots for us back at the station. Doug Haston did all of our engineering for the live stream, and he shot the video tonight that will be posted to YouTube for examination if you want to take a closer look at it. And we'll also have some airings coming up on tape delay at some later point on Channel 18 on Sudden Link Cable. I'm Don Julian with your play-by-play. We thank you so much for joining us this evening, and so long, everyone.